Hello everybody, and behold, a box. This is one of the probably last two Kickstarters I'll ever end up backing, that was massively delayed, first by COVID and then by the UK leaving EU thing, and like tax issues, import issues. They finally got it started. I'm still waiting for one more after this, but what we have for you today in this fairly big and quite heavy box actually is Season 3 of Gotham City Chronicles, which among some other things, the main thing it adds is a entirely solo play AI mode for the game. And I'm not entirely sure how it works. So we're going to take a look at that along with some miniatures and a bunch of card and everything else it gives you. And all I did was remove my labels and postage stuff from the box. I haven't opened it yet. So we're going to crack into this today and take a look. Alright, one knife cut later, we should be good to get in. I'm aware it's a very big box, so it's hard to see, but once everything's out, I'll reposition and it should be easier. So, it's very well secured, look at that. That is some decent securing going on right there. I'm going to need these scissors again then, just to quickly snip a couple of strips right there. There we go. Nope, there's a second layer, really? Well, they wanted to make sure it was safe. I can't begrudge that, really. Okay, there's just two layers. We're good. One more last bit of cutting, and we're in. To Season 3. So, we'll empty the box, and then we'll just take a look at everything. At the top of the box, we have Gotham City Chronicles, Narrow Chronicles 2, and New Eden. I believe this was a stretch goal, I think. I don't quite remember. We'll have a look at it. We have some individual miniatures. I'm not going to show them off yet, but we'll look at them in time. Don't know why they're separate. They're probably stretch goals as well. We have... that's the back computer. What is this? Rulebook, mission booklet, skills and traits booklet. I believe this is the solo mode content, maybe? Not sure. We have... what is this over here? Whoa. We have... some fun art of Batman and Catwoman. Trying to avoid shine from the studio lights here. It isn't really doing a good job of explaining what each of these boxes is. I don't think it says on the back. But this is a rulebook and a lot of cards. This is probably the AI cards, right? Because there's tons of cards in here and a die which probably dictates AI action. And it's pretty heavy. That's the majority of the weight right there, I think. Then we have... nondescript, just the Bat logo. What's in this? Well, there's 8 miniatures in here and associated cards. What 8 miniatures are in here? Your guess is as good as mine. We'll have to crack into it to see. And then, last but not least, I think, yep, is a very, very large box with Batman. Who have we got on here? Red Hood, Ghost. I keep forgetting his name. Punchline. Is that Race or is that Merlin? Not sure. It's probably Merlin. Content, 19 miniatures, various hero sheets, boards, mystery boxes times 2, some cubes, hero campaign board, villain campaign boards. I think this is the new self-contained campaign that is both playable solo and not, but again, we'll have to crack into it to see. So I'm going to get the poly wrap off of everything and then we'll be back. So here is everything laid out a bit more neatly, and I did find that on the sides of the boxes is where they tell you what is in each. So this is obviously the main box, however, the one with the bat symbol on it, that is stretch goals. The one with Batman and Catwoman, that is the solo/co-op mode, and this one just says Bat Computer Files, the long one underneath here that had the Bat Computer on it. Not 100% sure what that is, and as I say, I think this is just an episode pack with more missions over here. So we're going to take our pick. I think I'm going to just open the 2 miniatures that were just kind of placed in, which I presume are just extra add-ons. We have an Anarchy and we have the Batman Who Laughs. They come with the cards inside. I believe it specifies on the back. Yep, character title, life point, token, and also a card for versus mode specifically. Don't necessarily want to rip this open, so hopefully it shouldn't be too shiny from the angle I've got it at right now. So we'll take a proper look at the other miniatures just to be clear, because they're not in individual boxes. But for these, I just wanted to show you the front view. So that is classic Anarchy right there, not how he appeared in Arkham Origins. And then we have the Batman Who Laughs, a little bit underwhelming. The Batman Who Laughs, he doesn't have a flowing cape or anything like that. He's just kind of, he's not even holding a scythe or his sickle swords. He's just kind of raising his hand. So a little bit underwhelming, that miniature, I will say. compared to other miniatures I have or have seen. So, bit of a shame there. But these are 2 extras that were thrown in. I don't remember why. It has been that long since this campaign originally ran, so fine, fair enough. Oh, that was a cool spin. Let's take a look at the stretch goals first. As I say, it did say on the side, stretch goals box for Season 3. So, I don't remember what the stretch goals were. Oh, I think one of them was Ace, and I don't remember any others. I only remember Ace. So, well, I was right. Oh, it was Azrael. That was Batman. That's what the other one was. I'm not sure who the minions are. We'll have to see. Do they come with cards? They do come with cards underneath, but let's crack open this. Does it have sellotape on it? You better believe it does. Oh, we've got a Two-Face coin as well. I actually already have a third-party Two-Face coin, so now I have 2. I'm curious if this one's better made. The other one is like really large, like not the size it should be. There we go. Just taking the sellotape off so we can take a look at the miniatures. So, Harvey Dent Two-Face coin, scratch side, clean side. It only says Liberate on it. I actually think the one I already have is slightly better detailed. I will say that. This feels nicer though. It feels heavier. We have our cards with rules. Well, there's Calendar Man and Ace. And we have their stack cards, which I'm going to have to do like this. There we go. So in this box we have Ace, we have the Azrael version of Batman, we have the Drowned, which is one of the evil Batwomen in this case. We have, the Batman Who Laughs Robins and Calendar Man. So that's all who the stretch goals were, and their stack cards. We only have the 2 stack cards, I guess because the other ones are evil, so they don't need them. But the fully playable characters are Ace and Azrael Batman. So, and they use the same style as the other seasons. So, miniature quality then. Gonna have to zoom in for this. We have Ace looking like dog meat. Hopefully, there we go, that should be in focus. Just give you a gentle spin around. He's wearing a lot of armour. He's like the dog from Metal Gear Solid 5 actually, whose name I've forgotten. He's trying to look tall by standing on the wood. And then the other hero character, Azrael Batman. I like this one. This is better than a different Azrael Batman miniature I've had in the past. Much more detailed, much more aggressive looking. He's got his full claws going. Like this is when he's refined the suit fully, I feel, rather than when he's just getting used to it. And he goes and tries to murder Bane. Very jagged cape, by the way. Yeah, that is pretty cool looking. And speaking of cool looking, this is so weird, but for the Drowned, this is the exact miniature in the exact pose, almost 1-to-1 with the same thing on the base as the miniature that exists for her in the Batman miniature game by Night Models. Same pose. If I had the miniature handy, I'd prove it. I might quickly go grab it actually. She wasn't as high up as I remembered, but she is standing on tentacles. I'm not sure how visible that is, and she's obviously slightly smaller scale, but I guess they used the same art provided by DC, because it is uncanny how similar they are. This is more up to date. This is from years and years ago, so this is obviously more up to date, so it's got better detail and more going on it, but it's just, look at that, same pose. So next we have Calendar Man looking like Victor Zsasz, but that is him, that is Calendar Man, with his manacles hanging off him and books around him, presumably calendars. And then we have 4 identical miniatures, so I just need to show you the one there. 4 of the Robins Who Laugh, just the basic ones. They actually look pretty decent. I would say they actually look better than the Batman Who Laughs miniature that came with the order. But yeah, decent enough. Crow, etc. Same usual base, just with like the cracks and stone and stuff. And that is it for the Stretch Goals box. So I guess we should look at the big main box now. This is the Season 3 main box here before we look at all the other tertiary? That's the one. Stuff. So, let's crack this open. Oh, of course it has the mystery boxes that specifically say not to open. I might ignore that, we'll see. So, how well packed is this? Let's see. So we lift this, and then it is pretty much just chock-a-block, but at least it had a bit of protection there. So, we have character cards over here for, I am going to rip this, because I can't just pull it sideways. Nope. We have the Jace Fox version of Batman, not a version of Batman I'm familiar with actually. We have the Outlaw version of Red Hood, yep, obviously. We have Ghost Maker, that's what, I always forget the second part, I know it's Ghost something. And he's holding his katanas in a very silly pose, I remember that much from the campaign. And then we have the Cassandra Cain Batgirl, and that's the playable hero characters that it comes with. But what else do we have? We have a new type of token. I don't know what that's going to be for. We have some updated character items. Hibernalsium. Okay, yep, that's definitely something I know. So these are just item cards. They're the exact same design as before. It tells you how to use them, what skills, etc. At the bottom there. We have stat cards. Yep, including ones in French, because Punchline's at the back there in French, although that could be the alternative side. Suit Reinforcement Special Event. I don't know if those are used in the standard mode. I don't remember special event cards. So do not open, huh? What does this say? Batman and all related characters. Nope. Is there any other information? Mystery box. It has a miniature, a character tile, life points, versus cards. Do not open. I presume you have to get to a certain point in the campaign, perhaps, for you to open them. I'll put them to one side for now and maybe do a little spoiler thing at the back. Intention, that's in French. Is there in English? Nope. Okay, fine. We have... Oh, are these condensed player boards? No, these are something different. What are these? That's for tracking victory points. And victory points. I'm not sure. Oh, these could be quick reference boards as well, which are very much needed. Let's open it and see. So... They did good quality card before. It's still true now. I am not 100% sure what this is for. I presume victory versus mode, if I had to guess. Versus for heroes, versus for villains. That's just me guessing though. Oh, here's something. This is spending Molotovs, or maybe they represent, vicious plan. In French on the back. And then this is also French on the back, I think. Yep. Informant. This has got to be for some kind of like long campaign or something. Research tree, technology agenda. Yeah, must be. Well, speaking of, we have, what is this, a GM board? Oh, it's just a nice poster. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a thick line there, but it is a cool picture. I'll give them that. It is cool. And then we have some stuff I'm going to have to rip open, and then we have the miniatures last. So, let's just have a look at this. This is the campaign book for Season 3, Gotham City in Flames, with the same book in French, perhaps. We'll see. Ah, yeah, see, there is 2 final missions, only read when invited to. So these are the missions, and I guess they tell a story as you go. And so you do also need the previous seasons then, because it's not going to tell you. Some game elements are sealed within the mystery boxes. It is important to only open them when the mission instructs you to do so in order to preserve the element of surprise. The Riddler will be disappointed if you don't play along. Well, I'm not sure if I could live with myself if the Riddler was disappointed in me. That would be terrible. So I'm not going to show that on camera. Let's just... Oh, there. That's... Yeah, it's for campaign progress. I guess villains and heroes get stronger. So... It's the new style that they did for... They redid the old scenarios in this style to make them much clearer, which is very much appreciated. I would have liked a printed version in this that I don't think is included, but I guess we'll see when we get to the back computer files. That's what that could be. But same kind of layout, tells you how to lay out the board, tells you the special rules you need to apply, and tells you who you can use as heroes and villains, etc. I'm just going to take a sneaky peek at the back, where it says you're not supposed to look. So that's probably one of them right there, and then the other one is, to be honest, I don't even know who that is, so it would be a surprise whether I opened the box or not. I'm not going to show it on camera, but it does tell you what's in the boxes, so that's fine. Is this in French then? You better believe it is, so that's just going in recycling for my benefit. Alright, let's look at the miniatures once I clean this out of the way. So, here's what is inside. Oh, there is actually more. I didn't realise they were adding new maps. I forgot about that. So that's great, because the map quality, as long as it's bright and detailed, is pretty cool in this. So in this box is Ghostmaker, Jace, Batman, Red Hood, Batgirl, Cheshire is Merlin, Punchline, a bunch of Man-Bats, a bunch of ninjas, and a bunch of penguins with missiles on their backs. Excellent. Just what you want. Oh, no protective sheet over this. I guess it's a bit unnecessary given the cardboard. So let's take a look at the quality of these. We'll zoom in a little bit and I'll do them one at a time. There's 4 of these, obviously just going to show the one. Once it eventually decides to find it, poses like this sometimes struggle. I believe that's in focus. Excellent detail, looks good to me. That foot is pretty weird because it starts there and goes all the way there. A little weird. Oh, I guess that's just what they look like though, because the other one is like that too. Just side on, it looks a bit weird. these enemies were actually in Gotham Knights. So you get 4 of them. You get 4 of these ninjas with bolas or whatever it is, sickle and chain, which is hopefully in focus right there. That would be super simple. If you wanted to paint that up, that's nothing fancy or complicated right there. The penguins are huge compared to the people. There you go, that is a giant penguin with an even larger, what does it say? Oh, iceberg lounge missile on its back. Very fun, but over large compared to the characters. And then the villains, so we have Merlin here in the same pose he was in for the Night Modeled Batman game as well, I think. Don't quite remember. And Cheshire, as it turns out, would not have guessed it was her. In a martial arts pose. Right there. Ooh. Very fancy. So Punchline is presumably throwing some like toxic gas or something. It's a neat action pose, I'll give it that. Very nice. Wasn't expecting that. It's like she's got a throwing knife there, but she's also like chucking gas. That's her 2 main things. That is not how that was actually. It must have been. There we go. And then the hero miniatures. So Jace Fox, which I presume is Lucius's son, aka Signal, did he then go on to become Batman, or is this his other son that's Batwing who became Batman at some point? There's a lot to keep track of that I'm not familiar with the newer stuff. But he's standing on an eagle-shaped gargoyle, which I like. Very classic Batman pose. Honestly, just looks like a classic costume to me as well. I'm fine with that. Red Hood, using katana and not crowbar? Not sure what that is. Would have thought it would be his crowbar, but no, it's not. Hard to get in focus with the weird poses, and we kind of get an impression like that, hopefully. It's just kicking off a bit of bricks. Ghostwalker, was it? I've forgotten the second part of his name again already. In a very strange pose with his swords. I don't understand this pose at all. It doesn't look great. The other swords sticking out or something, or up ready to parry or attack, that look better. It doesn't seem like a great pose, which is a great shame because this is the only miniature of him that exists as far as I'm aware. So I would have liked it to look pretty cool. But bit of an odd one. Speaking of an odd one, just Batwoman ready to drop her thighs and other areas down on your face. That's this pose. Pretty cool though. It's a fun action pose with all the smoke grenade going off below. But just a bit of a weird choice without the legs extended to kick. Like she isn't looking like she's preparing to kick anyone. So it does make it seem a bit weird. So that is the miniatures. We can just go straight on to the maps because I believe they don't have any. They don't have any covering except this. So is there 1 map? 2 maps. Oh yeah, one of them was an airship. That's right. And then we've got the cards for everything below. So these are smaller. Yeah, they're the same length, but they're half as wide. I think they actually go together. It must be, because this is only like half of a factory. I'm not going to be able to get all this in. We'll pull back as far as I can, but I'll just have to kind of do a panoramic shot here to give you an impression. And then on this side is part of, yeah, it's one of the airships. Definitely an airship. Very cool looking, lots of detail, nice and bright as well, so you can tell where doors are and things like that. And then the other half, it could be an upper floor actually. Because this looks like the lounge for the airship here, with beds and baths and stuff. This is very posh. Good grief! Grand piano. They've got a massive bath next to beds. Only 4 bedrooms though. Oh no, there's more over here for staff and a kitchen and things like that. And then the other half of it's a factory with a boat in the water. That's what it is. Again, very, very cool looking. Sorry I can't show it off in full detail, but if we get around to playing on these missions, you'll get to see them in videos. And beneath that, other than sun protection, we just have all the push out, punch out card. We don't need to do that right now, but if you wanted to glance at people's stats, hopefully that is good enough, as well as mission specific tokens required down here at the bottom, and for the tracks as well. But there you have it, and a new warning card if you needed another one. So next, let's take a look at this back computer file, see if it is updated old stuff. Ah, it is. Okay, perfect. So yeah, this was very much needed. They redid the rulebook to make things clearer because the rules for the game are very obtuse, I think it's fair to say, in the original version. Yeah, this is. I remember reading the PDF of this. So this is the updated version of the rules. I'll sit and read this myself, but it should be better laid out. They hired some YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of subscribers to make it a bit clearer. I would still say it is not perfect from what I remember reading of the PDF. It is still messy and complicated. Complicated, like, should be bolded and underlined. But it is better than it was before, without a doubt. For sure. And does this have the campaign mode? No, let's see. So this is all tutorial. This entire booklet with, see how small the text is? It is all how you play. All of it. With references to special rules at the back. So all 58 pages of this massive booklet are how you play this game. That's ignoring any unique rules for the solo and co-op mode we haven't looked at yet. That's just for the base game, which is the tough side. This is the other thing I wanted. Fantastic. So this is the mission booklet from the original Season 1 release, with Season 2 included, I think. Don't quote me on that, I don't quite remember. But this is all the missions, also including stretch goal characters that you can now use in them, or Season 2 characters that you can now use in them. And it's rewritten and redone to make it much more clear what you need to do, how you do it, and everything like that. So I've actually done a video on this very mission. I think I did 2, in fact, on To Sink a City. So here it is, redone, reworked, reworded, with a bigger selection available of characters to play as if you want. So let's see, does it do the additional stuff from the original game? Let's see. Go right to the end here. The Red Hood mission, I think, was, as in the Joker Red Hood. The Deathstroke mission, I think I remember doing that one, actually. So it does have some of the extra ones. I don't know if it has all of them. I didn't see, like, the mansion, for instance, but excellent start. This, I think, is quick reference for skills and traits. Yes, another massively needed thing. Should have been with the original release. Is now. Thank goodness. And then reference cards. These are reference cards specifically for all the characters you could play as in Season 1 and 2. That's why there's so many. I'm not going to open them right now. On the other side of this card is the stat card they used to have. On the back, like, this is for the basic Batman that you get in the game, it tells you, it's a quick reference for specifically what his skills are and to remind you what they do in any traits. Like, for instance, he's got a moral code, so you can't equip stuff that does lethal damage. So that is such a great change. And then on the back here, this is the back of the Batgirl card, the new version that we get in this, I believe. Very, very needed. And for the expansion that originally came where you played as the villains, I can't remember if I ever did any videos on that, to be honest, but you could play as Bane and Scarecrow and stuff. Same kind of cards for that mode, with explanations for their skills on the back, so you don't have to go looking through a huge rulebook. Very, very needed. Speaking of very needed, so what is this? Let's see. This is, I see player aid, so that is more, it's struggling to come out. There we go. So this is player aid. Oh, this is just reminding you of like a glossary of terms, for instance. And then it comes with a map reminder for every map in the game to tell you difficulty for climbing or falling, and I can't remember what those numbers mean, but whether or not you have line of sight or not for each map. And on the back here, that is more quick reference. That's, even with quick reference, you're still going to have a lot of stuff, but hey, it is much clearer than it was before, and you have it more to hand. This is, I hope this was just part of, I hope you didn't have to buy it separately. I have a feeling you might have had to. Like, this is necessary. I'm going to actually open this and take a look here. So, yeah, quick reference for villains, quick reference for heroes, with everything you need for how they use their stuff, and then, yeah, including the DLC board, yep, because there's Wayne Manor, that was about DLC, you know what I mean, like a stretch goal thing. An extra map, so it includes them. Arkham Asylum was another extra one. So these originally were available only via an app. You had to check on your phone while trying to play, and on your screen that's tiny, you had to like scroll around to try and find the part of the map you were looking for. Having these as a reference is much better. And then this is just a reminder of certain universal traits. Massively, massively helpful. And hopefully for newer players, make it much easier to get into the game. So we have two things left to look at. We have the solo/co-op mode, which is before us, and then we have this New Eden pack, which is just a playable campaign from what I recall. So this is the one I'm interested in. My hope for the AI that they're using for playing solo is that it's not perfect, because what I found the problem was with Gotham City Chronicles, so I didn't play it a ton, but it is more of a puzzle game than it is a skirmish game. And you can plan the perfect move for your hero and still just get screwed because the dice are really tough. There's a lot of different types of dice, white, yellow, orange, red I believe it was. They each have different probabilities of success on them and the number of successes. So you kind of have to play the odds, but you're also managing the resource of your health, which enemies, if they're playing perfectly, which a human will hopefully be trying to do if they're playing the villain as a hero, the villain as a human rather, it's really, really difficult to win as the heroes because you have to play perfectly and the dice have to be in your favour. That was a massive issue, so I'm hoping the AI will have this level of, well, it might not always do the perfect thing, it might make a mistake, because that will make it feel more natural and hopefully flow better. I'm hoping the fact that this has a die in it is part of that, like they'll randomly dictate, maybe like pick a thing on a card. But so this is a small and very thick booklet. I believe the next one's in French, so it's not two of them, but it's a pretty thick booklet. So let's see here. Summary. This book contains the details on how to play Gotham City Chronicles as a solo or cooperative game against an automated villain player. Any rules in this book are in addition to any rules from the main book or mission rulebook. Therefore, you must know how to play the regular multiplayer game before learning the solo co-op mode. Okay, fair enough. And this is a lot of pages. It's, well, actually 30 pages. It feels like more than that. It's weird. So obviously I'm not going to sit and go through all of this. This is something I'm going to have to read in my own time, especially with how long it is. But hopefully it is just a case of cards. Villain campaign board. So here's how you would do the stuff with that. It looks like, yeah, you're rolling die to do something, to decide something. What is this? Is this little mini events? Oh, these are missions, so it tells you which AI decks to use specific... Ah, okay, so that's how they're doing it. Interesting. So actually, even though it's a lot more than 30 pages, it's like, it's 85, it's because it's doing specific AI things for every single mission. Okay, so that's why. And then this will be the same book, but in French. So into the recycling it's going to go. Yep. So... don't know what those are used for, but we have tokens and we have, good grief, so many cards. Oh, well, hang on, French. So never mind, it's not as many as I thought because we have French cards. So this die will be used to dictate something. It's actually a pretty cool looking die, I will say. It's pretty nice. So this must be an example. Like, I'm not going to open them, they're all going to look like this, and they're all, like, that was another issue the game had. It leans way too heavy on iconography rather than words, because it's cheaper. So, presumably you roll the die or something, this is both ones in this case, and then you follow the AI track, and it will tell you what these symbols mean, perhaps based on the campaign, or just generically in that rulebook we just looked at. And it tells you what they want to do, and it's that kind of AI. Which is perfectly fine. Like Battletech is going to do something like this, or is testing something like this with Aces. Other systems use similar, follow the AI till they can do a thing. And then these are specifically AI stat cards. Ah, right, that'll be what the numbers in the back of the book were dictating. It will dictate stat cards for the enemy character, or the villain, or villains. They're on the map, you roll the die for them, and it tells you what they want to do, I guess. So I guess Amygdala, for instance, targets whoever has the highest wounds out of the heroes. He might want to heal himself, he'll go for attack twice, or a hit and run, or he'll try and stun somebody, or he'll do a special, perhaps campaign-specific thing. Okay, that is a good way to do it. Obviously it's not necessarily going to be as simple as I've just explained it, because look at the thickness of the rulebook, 30 odd pages for explaining it. So there probably is more depth than that. But that does mean there's a certain random nature. Like, for instance, say Amygdala's got 2 health left and he does have the ability to heal himself. He might roll the die and decide, no, I'm actually just going to try and stun someone instead, and that will result in him getting taken out. That's not necessarily the optimal play, but that added random nature really, really helps, I think, with how the game will feel to play, where it doesn't feel like perfection is required, which is the unfortunate thing I felt playing it before. And that brings us to the final thing, the mysterious mission briefing for Narrow Chronicles 2 and New Eden. I believe Narrow Chronicles 1 was an expansion for Season 2. With the Suicide Squad or the League of Shadows, it was something like that. So let's see what's in this. It's all self-contained. I presume I'm allowed to look at it without spoilers. So, oh, okay. Interesting. That's everything. Okay. So that's in French. Goodbye. We have English here with some cool art of Poison Ivy. So what is this? This expansion for Batman Gotham City Chronicles board game invites players from the hero's side to don the roles of... Oh, it's another scenario where you play as villains. So Barrows Chronicles 1 was the Season 2 stuff where you play as villains. Fair enough, during this 4-mission campaign for 4 players, your successes and failures will determine the course of events. And I guess it's themed around Miss Ivy. Okay. So this is the expansion booklet. So in there should be 21 supervillain cards and 16 equipment cards, based on what this is saying. And we're not going to look at every mission because they change based on your results. So I'll just give you a quick glance at the first one, which is called Wintering. And you're up against Mr. Freeze with some hired goons. Oh, and you're allowed to use either version of Mr. Freeze, because there has been 2. Okay, that's neat. And this is just in an envelope. Oh, there's no way to... I have to rip it to open it. There's no fold. How did they get it inside? That's magic. That's actual magic. Okay. Unfortunate, but has to be done. Yep, that is a lot of cards. Oh, and they're all loose. That's not great. So that's the additional items for the mode, including a Poison Ivy Carnivorous Seed. Lovely. But... so they've added more playable villains then. Oh, including Ivy herself, because the selection of villains from the Season 2 pack was pretty limited. It was like Bane, Scarecrow, Penguin, Riddler, Joker, and I think Harley, maybe? There was like 1 or 2 others. So here we've got both versions of Ivy, Clayface. Oh, I think Clayface was actually playable in that last one. Solomon Grundy, Dr. Death, Amygdala, Clayface version of the Joker, Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, Joker Red Hood, Killer Croc, Orphan, Ra's al Ghul, the Hush version of Jason Todd, Nobody, Batman Hush version of Catwoman, The Beast, KG Beast, that version of Mr. Freeze, the other version of Mr. Freeze, Talon, but Uriah Boone, and Ratcatcher. So that is a bunch of other additional villains who, they wouldn't be backwards compatible though, because I don't think there was any update stuff for that particular campaign. But usable in this 4-mission campaign, and if it's telling the truth about it changing as you play, there is some replayability there. But that does it. And so that is what you get if you get the all-in for just the new Season 3 content for Gotham City Chronicles. I don't believe there's any plans to do an additional Season 4 or anything beyond that. The thing that most interests me is the solo AI mode, because that's the way I was playing it anyway. So I'm looking forward to giving that a go, and on that note, yes, it will return at least once to try that AI mode. I'm going to have to relearn the new version of the rulebook, however, and then obviously learn the solo co-op side of it, and, well, I was going to say I'm painting up some miniatures, but I painted up plenty from Season 1 and Season 2, so we can always go back to older missions, try those first, and then try newer stuff. But do let me know if you are excited, interested, curious, just a little bit to see this, so I know to prioritize it, because I only have so much time to paint and read rules. I'm currently trying to learn a different board game, so one of them is going to have to take priority over the other. So do let me know if this is of particular interest above all else, and I shall make it a priority. Either way, thank you for joining me on this unboxing. I sincerely hope you enjoyed or were entertained. There's plenty more on the channel if you want to go look at them. I'm waiting for one more very late Kickstarter that got massively delayed in Europe and the UK in particular. It's on its way sometime this month, and then that's probably me done with Kickstarters, but look forward to that. Thank you for watching, and until next time, ta-ta for now.